What's up, guys? How you doing today? I'll be honest, man. I'm depressed. I'm seriously depressed about this club right now. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to say. There was just it's just a joke. It's just a joke. I don't know, man. What do we where do we go from here, man? This is some of the most shambolic shit we have ever seen. That was a brutal watch. It was easily up there with Everton and West Ham, except we lost. Except we lost. You know, there's so much that has been spouted bullshit by people in the club, by the directors, and by this fan base as well, that are really quiet now. You know, when I said people hide and show up when they please, that's what I'm talking about. A lot of people now who have just failed to acknowledge maybe they were wrong about all their bullshit. I'll sit here and acknowledge everything that I've gotten wrong. I thought this board had some sort of knowledge, and they don't. They're worse than the last. Well, I wouldn't say worse. I got to be careful. They're not worse than the last, but they're about there. About there. They're right about there. It's depressing. And it's depressing because there's nothing now. There's nothing now. There's nowhere to go. I don't know what we even do next. I don't even know what we do next now. I don't know what happens. You know, I was okay with sitting there saying, all right, look, I was okay with like, all right, look, yes, we're not great right now. We're suffering. Ruben Amorim will probably leave end of the season no matter what was going to happen. But at least we were trying to do something. We're not doing anything. We're not doing anything but flip-flopping. And you know, I said in the Patreon chat just a minute ago before I went live on this, I don't want to talk about specific players today. I really don't. I really don't. We're going to be in 10th, 11th, or 12th and out of the cup in 2 weeks. Because it's easy. I can sit here and pick on individual players. There's quite a few who would deserve it today. But you know what? They're the same guys who were here last week, and the same guys who were here 2 weeks ago, and the same guys who were here 3 weeks ago, and 4 weeks ago, and 5 weeks ago, and 6 weeks ago, and 7 weeks ago, and 8 weeks ago. You already know what they are. You're just lying to yourself if you believe there was something different. We know what they are. We know what this team is. They are who we thought they were. It's NFL playoffs time, so I might as well bring that back. They are who we thought they were. That's the reality of it. They are exactly who we thought they were. Unless you are trying to delude yourself into believing that it was all on the manager. And that's in the past. This is who this team is. This is who this team is. This is the quality of the team that we have. At least we were doing something. Did you guys see that game? I will do a tactical breakdown, and this is not to blame Darren Fletcher, by the way. Being very, very clear, this is not to blame Darren Fletcher. Did you see that game? Did you see our out of possession shape? It was like watching Ten Hag again. Identical. I thought Ten Hag was on a touchline, and we'd gone back 2 years. The donut was unbelievable. It was the size of half of Old Trafford was a donut in the midfield today. But the 4 at the back's going to work, guys. It's going to solve all our problems. You could see it from the beginning, from 5 minutes in. We had no idea what we were doing out of possession. It was so bad. It was so bad. I've never seen anything like that. I have. I saw it for 2 years, and we sacked a manager for it, and now we go back because it's the same players doing the same thing with the same shit. And it's not going to change. Got banned in the Discord for being right and saying, I don't think that's why you got banned, but I appreciate Tubbs your insight on that. Cunha looks lost. I'm not going to criticize him today. I said I'm not going to criticize anybody because there's a lot of other people I can criticize. Cunha looks lost. I'll say that. Cunha looks lost. Feels worse than Europa League final. I don't know about that, but it feels pretty damn bad. It feels pretty damn bad. Zach Wilcox, I'm mentally checking out this season. It's hard to go beyond that. People about to realize real quick that Amram was working wonders with the squad. Sacking him was a massive error, and we're going to finish bottom half. Unfortunately, I feel that's true. It's the same old circus. Couple of weeks ago, we were told the squad is capable of Champions League. It's the tactics that's the problem. And then what? And the thing is, it's not the tactics. I'm not going to sit there and blame. I'm not going to sit there and blame Fletcher, and say, well, he set us up wrong and things like, because it's not that, man. This is a highly limited team. It's a highly limited team. It just is. It's a highly limited team. There's nothing you can do about it. It is limited. We had this whole discussion on yesterday's live, if you remember. You had this whole discussion on yesterday's live talking about this. And I was saying, listen, we got to stop this. We got to stop trying to run before we can walk. We got to stop trying to grab that fifth stair when and slamming our face into the wall when we just need to build some foundations. We just have to. We can't keep trying to cheat. We can't keep trying to rush this thing. We can't keep trying to pretend that it's all okay and that, that this team can do more than it can. It can't. It can't. Sixth place is at best where this squad deserves to be. At best. It's just at best. I'm looking at all the hypocrisy. We subbed Casemiro and Maguire on, 2 defensive subs when we were down 2-0. No outrage. You know why? Because it was the right call. It's all we can do. That's it. We're swapping center backs, sending defenders on at 2-0. Why? Because we had to. Because that's what we can do. Where's the outrage? Everybody who gets into that job right now is going to realize the exact same thing that the last manager realized. I don't have the tools to win this fucking game. I don't have the tools to win this game. I don't have the tools to change it. Why didn't we put Tyler Fletcher on and Jack Fletcher on? Put the kids on to chase the game instead of defenders. No, because it would be pointless. Because it would be pointless. It would be so stupid to do so. It would be nuts. It would be nuts to do so. Because they're not going to fix it. They're not going to fix it. So we made senior defensive subs the same as we're going to do the rest of the season. Bruno Fernandes moved deep because he started the game further forward. And guess what? He didn't touch the ball for 60 minutes practically. He barely touched the ball. So we tried to move him deeper to get him on the ball. It's the same problem. We're already seeing it's been 2 games and we're watching the temporary interim manager, what a joke that is, doing the same thing that the last manager did because he's running into the exact same problems, the exact same situations, the exact same issues. And that's the cycle that's going to happen for the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. 4 at the back, platforming all the players. Where is it? Did they look platformed to you? Was this a platforming problem? Because I'll be honest, man, I watched that game and I think there are fewer players who fit a 4 at the back. Less protection for Lenny Yoro, less protection for Lisandro Martinez, less protection for the midfielders, less on the ball for Bruno. Mount and Cunha have no idea where to play. They have no idea what to do in this team. Them, Cunha, Mount, and Bruno now all play the same position. They all play the same position. So now we have 3 players for 1 position. Wonderful. Great platforming. It's so much better. We've platformed Diogo Dalot. Now he's getting even in more attacking positions than before. But I thought the problem was, for months, it was about, it's who gets on the end of those chances. Who gets on the end of the chances? You know who's getting on the end of our best chances? Lisandro Martinez and Diogo Dalot. It's the same thing. It's the same story over and over and over and over and over again. The last game that Ten Hag got sacked, Dalot was running in behind for those chances, being the furthest guy forward, getting on the end of them. It's 2.5 years later. He's still there, still doing it. You know? We're not being better platformed in the 4 at the back. We're not fitting the 4 at the back better. None of it was better. The biggest lie was that Newcastle first half was so good. Utter fucking gaslighting bullshit. That first half was okay. And we didn't have Bruno, and then we lost Mount, and we didn't have a bunch of these players. It was okay. And that one thing was used to blow up the entire club behind the scenes. What awful, awful management this has been. I don't know, man. I'm so disappointed in where we're at right now. I'm so disappointed where we're at. I don't know where we go from here. I really don't. The season feels like it's gone already. And it's not like the table is like crazy. It's not like it's impossible. You know? And it's not just even the midfield. That's the scary part. You know, I saw Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt up in the director's box, which obviously, as ex-players and legends of the club, they have a right to be. But a week ago, Paul Scholes said on his podcast that he heard Wilcox say we're 2 players away. You serious, man? You serious, man? We put 4 past this team with a back 3. This was never the problem. We just get in and realize that the players are worse than you thought, and they're worse and they're worse and they're worse. And every manager that comes in is going to realize that. Jason Wilcox should be sacked too. No matter who the manager was, the team needs some players. Now we're going to miss all the top targets. Where were the shouts and rage with defensive subs? I'm alone in not caring about this club anymore. That's how detached I am. It's whatever. I don't trust them to do anything right. Man, we need to build a good team, especially board. Yes, we do need to build a good team, especially board. It's like opening old wounds all over again. Huge gaps between players, too many standing still, completely overrun. This is a nightmare. Yeah. And then Stevie, I don't know if you had a message, but yeah. You know, I said on that Friday when Ruben Amorim blew up in that thing, and it's not about Amorim. I said on that Friday when he blew up that when he said we weren't getting players, that this was really dangerous because you're essentially sending a message to the rest of the team. We don't back you. You're sending a message to the manager. We don't back you. You're sending a message to the club. We don't back you. You're sending a message to the squad. You don't need help. You're sending a message to the fans. We don't care. And I said that the back half of the season could devolve into the chaos. And that was before they changed managers. Beforehand. And it's just, I don't know anymore. And I watch people sucking off all the comments and public words and all the interviews and statements already. And I go, don't you get it, man? It's stop. I stopped listening to Ruben Amram's press conferences a long time ago because I got fed up of just listening to words. I just want to see what's on the pitch. In a 4-2-3-1, who are the wingers? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But the thing is, it's like, it doesn't matter. We don't have choices. We don't have choices. We don't have choices. We just don't. I don't know what to do. I don't know what else we can do. Ahmad and Bouma are coming back, and then what? One of them is going to play. And that's going to change everything? One guy? And now we can't even get them all on the pitch. But that means Mount's off the pitch too. Cunha, Ahmad, and Bouma, 1 sits. But that means that instead of having a way we could play where we'd get Cunha, Mount, and Bouma, Ahmad, Bruno, all on the pitch, now we're going to have half of them, and we're going to score more goals. The math ain't mathing here. The math ain't mathing. Mount has been one of our best players this season. You watch him in that game yesterday, he has no idea what to do anymore. No idea. Mount's been one of our better players. He can't do it in this anymore. It's over. But there's no point. We should sell him. We bought players for Amarim's system. That's exactly the point. And the lie is that we didn't. The lie is that we didn't. Saying that we weren't building a squad that was going to match up with Amarim. It was a lie. I said in summer, we bought 2 10s for a reason. We bought 2 10s for a reason. It's just, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. And the problem is that where's we throw a rebuild for Wilcox's ego sickening. It's not just that though. It's not just that though. Like, it genuinely is a problem at this club. The way they listen to media, fans, and otherwise, they can't handle it. They genuinely can't handle it. It was like I said yesterday when I was talking about this whole manager debate moving forward. We have this problem, which is that not only do we have to build the club, but we have to do it in a way that nobody else has to. It has to be super entertaining. It can't be pragmatic. It has to use youth, whether they're good enough or not. And it has to do so many things that it can't do naturally to build. Standards that aren't there for anybody else. No other club. I watched Arsenal win off set pieces and play like shit week in and week out. You know, we have to do things so much different. And they promised that they wouldn't listen to the pressure, but they obviously did. They obviously did. Even if that pressure is coming from Sir Jim Ratcliffe, you can't listen to that pressure. Even if the pressure is coming from your owner, you can't listen to that pressure. You know? You have to stay the course on what you are trying to accomplish and not bottle it. And that's what's happening. They panicked. They panicked at the worst moment. And there's no plan moving forward. So explain why he should leave then for that. Wasn't he right to criticize the board? Isn't that what everybody's doing right now? So what, he can't? Just tells me he's the only one in that club with any balls to stand up to the person above him. I'll be honest. That's what I think. He's the only coach with any balls, the only staff member with any balls to stand up to the people above him. As soon as Sir Jim started pushing on back four, Wilcox caved in, collapsed, started pushing on it. That's what Laurie Whitwell confirmed. That's just the fact. The only guy with any balls in this club. Ruben was not the problem. He was the solution. I've never had such buyer's remorse. Thanks, Ineos. Fletcher calling the players fragile. Oh, wonder where he learned that. Yep. Wonder where he learned that. Fragile. Who told us for a year that this was a fragile team, that they were fragile players, that they couldn't handle it? Who told us that? I think you can see the players are fragile. Who told us that? For a long time. Now he's saying they're fragile. They're fragile. They're fragile. Okay. Cool. Cool. Nice. Okay. Right. Yeah, we know. We all know. We all know they're fragile. Exactly. You can't write this. You genuinely can't write this. Like, it's the same thing. We didn't play enough balls in behind and test them. You need to move the ball with tempo. Who talked about tempo? Who talked about the players being fragile? Who talked about all of this? It's the same thing, because every manager will get in and realize that you have the same shit at the club as the last guy. You need to dig deep. Basically, what he says is, what Darren Fletcher has said is, and he's absolutely correct, these players are shit. They're not good enough. They can't handle it. They collapse under the pressure. It's the same thing over and over and over again. And it's not going to change. And the next guy is going to realize the exact same thing. And Carrick is going to come in. It's going to be the same thing. 4 weeks into the season, I said there's players here that are going to cost the manager his job, that cost the last guy's job and the last guy's job, and they have trauma and they are fragile. I remember talking about it after Brentford. And saying it's the same players. It's going to happen again and again and again and again. Mentally, they cannot handle it. They can't deal with it. And they will cost us. And it's going to happen time and time and time again. And it's the same people. You know? This game could have been even worse. I genuinely don't think that Brighton got out of second gear the whole game. Like, seriously. They looked like they were cruising from minute one. It is the worst United team in history. It just is. It's just got a few shiny new signings over summer. They like Welbeck missed on the mistake from Lamens, right? Welbeck missed on the mistake from Lamens. We didn't get that benefit last time. It could have been a lot worse. A lot worse. Interim manager chat deflecting from no signings. Yeah, that's how it feels. It took Fletcher 2 games to realize. Yep. And he's right. He's absolutely right. I've absolutely zero problem. You're going back into hiding. I'm sorry, Jonathan. I've absolutely zero problem with Fletcher's comments because they were true when Amarim said them, and they're true when Fletcher says them, and they're true when anybody says them. It's because it's the truth. And people didn't want to hear it. It's the truth. It's the truth. He's absolutely right. I just don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, catch up. I've been talking about it for over a week about Ineos, Wilcox, and everybody. There's nothing. There's nothing here. We're not doing anything. Like I said, I'm an easy guy. Genuinely, I'm actually easy to please. I'm actually easy to please. I'm actually easy to motivate, to get behind you. I want to believe. I want to believe badly. You know, I want to have hope badly. I don't watch this club to be miserable 24/7. You know, I don't want to do that. I want to watch this club to see something positive. I want to watch this club to have hope. I'm easy to get to motivate. You can make me have hope very, very easily. I had hope through some of the bad things that have happened over the last few months, some of the bad games, things like Wolves. I go, God, that's a shit game. But you know what? At least I believe we have a plan. At least I believe we're going in a direction that will take us better in the long term. At least I believed that. I don't believe that now. It's not happening. That was thrown out, and there is no plan. And it's what you see on the pitch is what it is. You know, Phil Malakians always used to, on our podcasts, use a phrase that I really liked. And he used to say, you know, what you see on the pitch is a reflection of what's above, the intentions. And I thought that made a lot of sense, right? And I see it, you could take it a simpler way. As above, so below. Simple phrase. As above, so below. What you see on the pitch is representative of what is above. Under Ruben Amorim, it was defensive. It was worrying at times. It was inconsistent. Okay? I can accept that. But it was fairly predictable as well, which I can also accept. Very predictable. Because at least that tells you there was something we were trying to accomplish. The rigidity of it, the predictableness of it, at least that tells you there was a plan, an idea. There's no idea anymore. It's chaos. It's chaos. It is utter chaos. And it was like that under Ten Hag for his second season. It was utter chaos. No plan, no idea. Just an absolute mess. And I said this about this whole thing, that it was all gonna. God, I was so worried on that Friday, and I wish it. I cannot actually believe it's gone this direction. That as soon as they said no signings, I was like, you know what? It's all gonna go to chaos in the back half of the season. It could go bad. I didn't think it would go bad this fast, but it has. It has. It's gone bad so fast. Genuinely, how can we fix this? I don't know, Adewale. I don't know. We needed to stay the course on something and then back it. You know, I was showed all those fucking graphs and stupid shit, right? You know, all these graphs and all these things and all this stuff, you know, out there. And the reason I showed all of that is I have one rule that I've learned in football, sports, but also in business and so many things. You do not know how to attribute good and bad. It's really hard to attribute it. Really hard. When you see things getting better, even marginally, you don't know why. And you can assume why. And most of the time, people assume wrong, even if they're experts. They assume wrong. And when things get bad, they also often assume wrong. Okay? And I said the biggest rule you can have is when things are getting better, didn't say they're good, doesn't mean they're good enough. When things are getting better, you don't change anything drastic. You don't do anything drastic. That's the one thing you don't do, is do anything drastic. You just don't. You simply try to do more of what you are already doing. And it is that simple. Because you don't know that you might fuck up the thing that is working accidentally. And when you get it wrong, it immediately turns. And that's what's happened already. And I don't see why it's going to change. They assumed the problem was one thing, and it was very, very, very likely the other thing. And when things are going bad, you have to change fast. That's the difference. And those are the two rules to success. When things are going the right way, just do more. When things are going the wrong way, fix it really quickly. And then that's so. How do we fix this? I don't know. Now we've got to change again. But now what? Now we've got to change again. Ugarte's a 0. That's funny. I thought Ugarte was one of our better players today. There is no united way. It's a myth. Well, there is. But it's based purely on profile of players. It's purely based on the profile of players. The United Way is dependent on having players who can play the United Way. If we want to define it, I would sit there and say the United Way is fast, attacking, aggressive football, probably like Liverpool played. So buy players that Liverpool would have bought. Build a team that's similar to what Liverpool built. You're not going to do it without doing that. You can't build the United Way without getting teams without getting players that can play that way. You know? That's the truth. So it's like, what do you do? We can't until you get those players, you can't play the United way. You know, that's what I was saying the other day about the manager and stuff is if you need to play that way, you're going to have to be patient and you're going to have to look at chaos. Same. Ugarte was solid. The midfield was good, but the team shape and transition. Correct. The shape was absolutely horrible. Yep. Players lost the manager they actually liked. Correct as well. Like I said, it's the one time you hadn't had the club, the squad fall out with the manager. That's why there was not going to be a bounce because there was no low. There was no low. We can look at some of the stats here really quick, just for the sake of it, look at the shape. I mean, it's not dissimilar to the last one, but it's not very good. I don't know what we're trying to do. Essentially, everybody's clogging the middle. You clamor for central progression, and then we go centrally, and it's very easy to simply block out the middle of the pitch. We needed to go wide. I was begging, and I saw people in the chat doing it, begging for us to play through the wide areas better. Now we're trying to play through the middle, and we're just getting shut down. We needed to play through the wide areas a lot more than we did today, and we didn't. Like I said, I think I'm not going to go into criticizing a bunch of players because half of these players were really, really poor today, but not unexpectedly. Not unexpectedly. And the game went the same essentially as Burnley. I saw takes at the end of the first half that we were in control of the game, that it was more settled, more calm because they scored. That's it. Brighton scored, sat back, and let us have the ball. And they couldn't do anything. And then they scored again as soon as they started even trying. And all we could do is get a set piece again. It's just, this is who we are. We're out of both cups. We're 7th in the table. And look at the next 2 games. City and Arsenal. We're going to be in the bottom half by the end of January with no signings. And we're giving an interim manager City and Arsenal. Look at who Chelsea gave their interim manager a game to. They gave Rossignol an easy cup game. Carrick or whoever's going to get City. I wouldn't be surprised if Fletcher stays for City now, just so we don't have to give it, just so we don't have to give it to our next manager and have them start on a bad foot. But that's just more of the same. Strange, it's more of the same. I don't know, man. This sucks. This really does suck. I don't even know what to say. What is the end result of all of this? Seriously, where do we go? Where do we go from here? I just don't think that they have the stomach, nor do I think the fans have the stomach for what is actually necessary. And you should say, and we can say that the owner should see that through, and I agree. The owner should have ballsed up, seen it through, and said, you know what? Don't care. We're just going to continue with what we do. That's what should have happened, in my opinion. And unfortunately, they haven't done that, and that's really disappointing because more than best in class and all the crap like that and things like that, you know what I'm saying? The biggest thing that supposedly to me was promised was that we would make logical, correct decisions, not based on emotion, not based on journalists going off on one, like Sir Jim said, not based on, fans going off on one, not based on any of that. And we've done the opposite. It's hard to have faith in this thing moving forward. And it's not just because we've lost a game. This whole thing it was so predictable. We've had good plans. I mean, I just don't understand. I don't understand. Like we talked about this morning before the game. Prior to Ten Hag, they came in and said, we're going to appoint some coaches. We want to appoint some coaches that will stick with the club so we have longevity in our plan and program, like Rude and whatever. We're going to sack Ten Hag, get our guy in, play our style of football. They bottled the sacking of Ten Hag, bottled the appointing of the coaches, rushed into signing somebody that apparently they didn't like, but then they did actually sign him players that are not going to fit the next manager, even though saying that wasn't the case, and then decided not to back him, sack him, and there's nothing. There's nothing. I think that fans were unhappy with this season not being great, but I think most people would have ridden it out, to be honest. I think most people would have ridden it out. We are relying heavily on Dallo and Dorgu to create. That won't work no matter the manager. Exactly. I'm genuinely shocked by this. What the hell is happening at our club? We can't make one good decision. Our generation was spoiled rotten. Do you think things would get this bad? I didn't. I don't either. You can't play on the wing without wingers. Ugarte won a couple of tackles, played sideways, brings very little. Yeah, but that's all he needs to do. That's why you're playing all these forwards all over the pitch, But you're right about not being able to play on the wing without wingers, but that's choice. Can't see any interim manager doing better than Ruben Amorim. Huge mistake to sack him. They were the same way at Nice. Maybe. Yeah, I agreed, Ramon. Like you tell me, you go to the games all the time. I mean, I do think there were fans that wanted Ruben out at the games and such for sure. But I think mostly people were just very frustrated. But I do think there were fans who wanted him out. But I think most were very, very frustrated. But at the same time, I've been shocked to see how few people agreed that, how few people think that the timing was right. I think most people saw that the timing was terrible, was awful. City have just added Antoine Semenyo, dude. City have just added Semenyo for our next game. Tottenham are signing players. City are signing players. Chelsea will probably sign players. Everybody around us is going to improve. Everybody. It's just not good. I think Lacey's really bright. But there's your next step of hypocrisy. It doesn't make you feel any better. It's not going to suddenly solve the club, solve the game, fix everything. It's not gonna. Lacey, I think, has an incredibly bright future for United. I think he really does. He needs time and patience. And not feeling like he's going to suddenly, that's the answer. It's just fucking hell, man. Sucks. It really sucks. It really does. It's like, it's crazy, man. I don't know what to say. Odds on us reverting back to 15th place, underlying stats. If we do and don't get our main targets in summers, we could be flirting with relegation. Um, Glazers want a dividend this year. Well, they can't get one for a while anyway. But look, yeah, I worry about that, you know? I do worry about that. When I watched us play today, the biggest thing that scares me, the biggest thing that scares me is that we went right back to a donut midfield. That was the least compact we have ever played in years since Ten Hag left. You know, one of the things that Ruben Amorim did that people will not want to admit as a positive is he stopped us getting battered game after game. He stopped the 4-0 Bournemouth games, the 4-0 Palace games, the 5-1 Liverpool, the 5-1 Watford, the 7-0 Liverpools. We had a lot of them. He stopped that. And yeah, all the critiques over it being too defensive, that was why. Because we had a lot of games where we weren't just losing, we were getting destroyed. We were getting absolutely finished. The reason we have so many draws this season is because we've become hard to beat compared to before. We were turning losses into draws, and it was frustrating, and it was rough, and it was painful, but it was necessary because it was the step in between getting beat huge, massively, game after game after game, so many times. That stopped. We lost 3-0 to Bournemouth at Old Trafford. We lost to 4-0 to Palace away. Those games ended. Those games ended. And that was progress. And much as people didn't like to see it, that was progress. Because unless too many people, I think, unfortunately had a blindfold as to just how bad it got. It is not normal to lose games in the manner that we were losing games for a while. It is not normal. It's just not normal. And I'm not talking about tight games where we just can't score a goal. I'm talking about getting battered. Seriously. I'm talking about getting battered, you know? You want a crazy stat? Do you guys want to hear something nuts? And I mean crazy. Do you want to hear a crazy stat? Today's game is the first time we've gone down 2 goals since Brentford. The first time we've gone down by 2 goals at any point in time during a game since Brentford. And even then, it was a last-second goal after we missed a penalty. So, yeah, we stopped getting battered. We stopped falling far behind. At most, it would be a goal. And then we would usually fight our way back into the game more often than not and either pull out a draw or something else. It wasn't that long ago. But the point is that during this whole period that resulted in all this chaos, we played Sunderland, Liverpool, Brighton, Forest, Tottenham, Everton, Palace, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, and we never went down by 2 goals. City is probably the only exception this whole year because, again, Brentford was the last-second one. That was the one time all year. And this was at home. Now we end up down 2-0 again. I don't know how many points we won. More than we've got the last 2 games. We have 1 point in 2 games. If you want to call a cup game points, doesn't matter. We have 1 point in 2 games. It's not betting any better. It's just not. And it's not going to. Sometimes stopping getting battered was all it needed. in terms of progress. And that should have been viewed as progress. So let's do callers, because otherwise I'll be here all fucking day ranting, to be honest. I'm just so mad right now. I'm honestly so mad. Let's do callers so I get this done and then get you guys' thoughts out. Give you guys a chance to do some ranting as well. We were scoring more too, correct. We were scoring more. You know, we played Burnley earlier this year, we won 3-2. Now we draw 2-2. We played Brighton earlier this year, we won 4-2. Now we've lost 2-1. It's messed up. All right, Parth, how you doing?
Terrible game, man. I think it was the worst game this season. I agree. I was listening to you just before this. I agree. I saw the same thing you did. Like that midfield was getting ripped open. This is Brentford B team, and
Brighton, yeah, Brighton.
everyone who was like, we had attacking spells, we had shit. They gave us the ball and said you can't do anything with it. Have it. Literally,
And
that's
they
all
were
they did.
right. And they were right. We couldn't.
And that's going to be. And now what worries me is City is going to batter us like 5 and 6 nil. We are not going to do anything in the market. We are going to lose the next two games. I have no hope of that. I think when I came on last time, I told you we are not beating Brighton. We are not beating City. We are not beating Arsenal. That's our season done. We're not
Yep.
getting, Europe. At least Europe. I don't know about Conference League or anything. But yeah, one good thing is we signed Mbumu and Sheshko this season, false promising them that we were building something. At least we don't need to get 10 players, probably 5 or 6. So we have some quality in there. I don't agree with one point that you said that we signed 2 10s. I think Mbumo is more of a winger.
He can play as a winger for sure. You're
Yeah,
right about that. He's much more flexible than Cunha is.
yeah. Cunha, I agree. Uh, but it's not that he's got no place in the squad. He's
Yeah.
a decent player. He's just misprofiled right now. If you want to play Cunha as the inside forward, you need Dorgu moving way down. Like actually, there was a period when Shaw and Rashford did something similar. When Rashford was really banging in under Ten Hag, something
Yeah.
similar,
Yeah.
and
You
then
almost
that
need
could
to
work.
step up next
Yeah,
to
that
the
way.
striker or something, maybe. I don't know. I mean,
Exactly. It,
if
it
we
could
brought
work.
Carrick in and he went 4-4-2 and put Cunha up with Sheshko, I'd be happy with that. I think that might fit him,
But 4-4-2. Who's the two
Yeah.
in the middle?
A hope and a prayer. A hope and a prayer.
Bruno and
Playing
Casemiro
next to each
again. You
other.
know that.
Yeah, a hope and a prayer. Yeah.
I don't see why not test Brighton with 100 million bid. You not Baleba is, no matter who you get next year as a manager, you're gonna Casemiro is going. He's not
Yeah.
signing.
I know.
I would even put 40 million for fucking Gehi in there. Honestly,
Why not?
he's not joining you on a free, no matter what. Like
Yeah.
that's the only way you get him. That's what we
Yep.
did before. Like lure them with fucking money right now.
Yep.
Honestly, and I guess, do we have any answer on who the interim is? Like Carrick, maybe,
It'll probably be Carrick, but we'll see.
and
We
probably
will
Tuchel
see.
later. I don't mind. I
Yeah.
wasn't very pro Tuchel, to be honest with you, but we need something more compact. We need a base to build on.
He will play very pragmatic football with
I
his
don't
team.
care right now.
No,
We
I
need
know.
to
I'm
know.
just saying people
Yeah.
need to understand that. Like, he's not going to come in
No,
flying down the pitch. He's going to play more defensive than Ruben Amorim with this team by far.
agreed. But yeah, I get it. But that is
Because you
something this
have
team
to.
needs.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm good with that. I'm saying just expect that. It's just the truth. But
Yeah.
it's
We
okay.
saw what happened with Vibes today.
Yeah.
Fucking that was awful
Yeah.
game of football.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, I don't know. I think we are fucked. I think we are eternally a mid-table club now. We are not going to win. I think fucking I should stop having hopes every year and every season. This is shit. This club, there is no
Yeah.
future with Man United. Fuck
Yeah.
2028. We are not ever winning the Premier League. I don't
Yeah,
think.
we'll hear from OMP later, who had a great speech last time. But I think we're fucked. I think might be the phrase of the night for us.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
think that might be it
absolutely.
for
We are
tonight.
done.
But yeah,
Fold this club. Fuck it. Yeah,
thank you,
man.
Parth. Appreciate it, buddy.
Bye.
See ya. All right, let me do this quickly. Put these ones up so I don't miss them, and then I'll go to you, Ethan. I like Lacey, and he should be fine, but seems we're the only club that relies on youth players to teach us. Over reliance on youth needs to stop. True. I just remembered when Jim said the same thing you said about the squad in his first interview. It was a good opinion, but was sign of easy immediate influence. Right. He said all of that, and then why not stick to it? You know what I mean? That's the point. If you had said all that, then stick by it. James, I always felt there would never be worse owners than the Glazers. Ineos proved me wrong just about a year. I still don't agree with that because you still have to bear in mind that 80% of this club was built by the Glazers for us to be at the lowest point that we're at. But the steps that are being taken to fix it are terrible right now and showing to be very incompetent. That's the problem. I wouldn't say worse because it was at its bottom, but it's certainly not nearly what we were expecting in terms of improvement over them. You have to do a lot better than the Glazers. Doing just a little bit better isn't an accomplishment. All right, Ethan, let's go. What's your thoughts?
Oof, it feels kind of surreal still that this is all actually happening. That the fact that we've probably undone a year of sacrifice in a week, and by sacrifice, it's literal sacrifice. Layoffs and financial right sizing, and PSR gets done away with, and all these things that are now opening the floodgates of at least upside and potential success. And they've completely undone all of that work, which was positive work. They've undone, I don't know exactly why, but they've undone all of it in the space of a week. And I remember I came on at the transfer deadline and I told you, I said, 6th is probably our floor, assuming everything's okay. And if we can keep a bubble above this club that nothing can pop it. And if the stories are to be believed, within 2 weeks, someone inside the bubble popped it.
Yeah.
Who had no credibility popping anything, and who was a temporary hire who somehow became permanent for doing nothing notable, and now potentially has greater purview, even though you're supposed to be a youth recruiter and now you're picking coaches. Don't get me started on that. But basically, they've undone all of this potential progress in the space of a week. And I don't know why or who, or if it was a collective, but basically you have to start from scratch now. And everyone says, oh, how do you fix the problem? Any sport or whatever, you get better performers and people who are actually responsible for playing the sport. Mm-hmm. So getting better players is always the answer. It doesn't matter who your coach is, what your structure is, how many formations you play. It's the same number of players on the pitch. If you get more talented, intense, physically, efficient players,
competitive,
then you're going to be better. I don't care who your coach is or if you even have one. So, and I loved what you said a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, it wasn't good, but the fact that January isn't something special if you don't actually do anything.
Correct.
It's just another month of the season, right? Other sports don't have windows. You have deadlines. So as long as everything's done before a deadline, then you're fine.
Yep.
But football is unique in that sense. And the fact they haven't been able to get anything, even a Conor Gallagher on loan, which could have easily been done day one, has been just gross incompetence. And essentially you're now not even having to start from scratch. You've now gone backwards and will have to undo everything you've already done. Because, again, our summer recruitment, which people thought was okay, above average, was not built for this. You've now got more holes than you did before.
Yep. Now the midfield becomes even more important.
all because something happened 2 weeks ago or something was bubbling under the surface, and these people who are supposed to be professional adults couldn't figure out things like professional adults. And so here's your solution. The games and how they go don't really matter anymore at this point. It's like it's done. They've canceled another season in the space of 7 days. And it's like they saw Chelsea being all dysfunctional, said, oh, no, we're supposed to have that bad press and self-sabotage. And within 48 hours of everyone laughing at Chelsea, they couldn't handle someone else having that negative attention. They're like, no, we need that back. And they've now put it all back.
And the problem we have there with Chelsea is that they've got 65 players to choose from in order for the manager who comes in to pick what he thinks is going to be best. So at the very least, you change coaches. Their model's better set up to just swap coaches around endlessly.
Yep.
They don't have the best built team. They don't. They're a mess, but they have so many players and so many like options. They could just swap them around, and the next guy could just pick a different group, and he'll probably figure it out.
And they've
do
profiled
okay.
correctly. Think about how many physically adept players they
Yeah.
have that can handle English football. Lugachukwu is not even there anymore. He walks into our midfield. Andre Santos, Caicedo, Fernand, all these guys. And the fact that we haven't built a team that can actually handle English football still, and the players
In
that
England.
can walk,
How weird.
unfortunately, a favorite can't really run. That's not really a good starting point. So we're gonna end up scrapping this season, start from scratch in the summer. It'll just added on an extra 2 years of rebuilding that was completely unnecessary in the past week. So that's essentially it.
Right on, man. Yeah. Thank you, and enjoy if you're watching something else this weekend instead.
Yeah. The real football.
Yeah.
See you, man.
See ya. Bye. All right, Maddie, what's going on, my friend?
I mean, I obviously wasn't a big fan of Amrin, but I remember saying, you cannot do this now. You can't do it now. There was no point in doing it. It made no mistake. It was massive. You know, if you don't sack him, releasing you sack him, and they've literally lit a good grenade and just stood there with it in their hands, and it's gone off now. And I don't know if you've seen the comments from Fletcher in the press conference. I'm getting all the after Everton vibes from that, challenging the players, saying, "Come on, you got to play better." He's not gone as far as all he did. Yeah. But he said, like, these guys won't be here much longer. He's getting close. If I was
Carrick, it took him 2 games to call them soft, didn't it? 2 games.
I think it took him 48 hours.
Yeah,
to come up with this. If I'm Carrick now, I'm going, yeah, you know, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Because he walk into either Ollie, Carrick will walk in, and they'll go, "Oh my god," you know, and then I think you know, this idea that Ollie wants the permanent job, or Carrick, they'll say, "No, don't give me a permanent job. Don't give me. I'll stay for 6 months and I'll go." This is ridiculous. Lacey was only bright spark today off the bench. It says it all. But but your point about like them scarred, that's because Lacey's not scarred by the issues. He's fresh.
So I said when he came on, he looks bright, he looks excited, and then I said we'll beat that out of him within a month.
Yeah,
it'll be over for him too.
Well, he won't play now, will he?
Yeah, no, he won't play. They're going to come back, and he won't be in the team anymore.
He'll just sit there and be like, okay, twiddling his thumbs, because unless there's injuries and suspensions, of course. But it's just the season's basically done. It's over. They're not going to get European football because they're not going to sign any players, and we know. I mean, and it's the same players making the same mistakes. And it was just, I don't understand. It's so annoying because they did it to themselves. It wasn't like, again, I think it's right called the second manager earlier or later, but not. I said, don't do this now unless.
Once we made it through December, it was like, just get to the end of the season.
Yeah.
You'll probably finish in European places and you can make a change. And,
I got
where
to
we were at. That's all I thought we were going to do. And it made sense at least.
When it got to like mid-November, I'm like, okay, I want this guy out, but keep him now. You can assess properly. He might prove you wrong. He might prove me wrong, which I doubt it will, because the players clearly they didn't want him to stay. Keep him in. You might fluke a European spot, and then you got something out of the season. You can then say, right, Amrin, we can just part company. But the only reason they sacked him, and they cannot get out of this now, ego. That's the only reason he's gone. If he keeps his mouth shut and just says, "I'm not answering a question," I mean, me used to do, can't answer it. He's still here. They sacked him because he called them out, and that's why Ranieri got sacked, because he called them out and said it's not good enough what they're doing. That's what Amrin did. He called them out and said, "Look, you're not doing your jobs right. You just listen to me noise." And they went, "Oh no, off you go." They need to come out and talk about what's going on. There's too many massive mistakes on the ownership. They won't, of course. Who will? Or there's some guy generic thing. Or they'll do some. I tell you what, I bet you one or two things happens tomorrow. Either tomorrow we get an appointment of the manager, or they stick to Dan Fletcher. It's one of the two. I wouldn't be surprised if they point someone tomorrow now to try and spin the PR and make it more positive. It wouldn't surprise me.
I always figured after this game they would make a call. You know, if they lost, then immediately you can get Carrick in. Then then you have new blood, and it's a you know,
Yeah.
you can make a new statement, and you can turn it away. But
It's the classic Sir Alex Ferguson, lose a game or say something to get off the players onto me. They'll just say now with the manager, say, okay, we've got do it, guys. Carrot's going to fix anything in a week. And we'll talk about Carrot coming in, and they'll compare his record. They get all the compilations of goals and everything on Sky News and everything. But yeah, it's a mess, and it's all their own doing. It's just right. She's the top manager, maybe, but they've just torpedoed the chance they had to European football. I think they've just torpedoed it.
yeah,
And I think it's done now. But maybe I'm wrong, but I fear I'm not going to be.
it feels bad. Right
Unfortunately.
now, it feels really bad. I'm
Yeah.
terrified. I
Very
hope it
bad,
turns
yeah.
around, but yeah.
Nah, I don't see it. That unless they panic now again and then do something window panic buy, which I don't see why they would, but they might panic again and do it before.
Maybe we panic our way to making something positive out of all of this.
Panic our way to Conference League football. Yeah, come back way to that. Yeah, I'll take that actually based on what we're seeing,
Yeah.
but maybe
Oh,
they
yeah.
will, but we'll see. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'll let you
All
guys
right, my
get on
friend.
if they want to rent.
Thank you. See you, man.
Thank you.
All right, OMP, how you doing, my friend?
Oh man.
Not
I don't
good,
know.
huh?
Nah, not good. But I expected this. I just didn't think that I would care as much as I still do, which is crazy. Because like I just knew, like I knew the path we were heading down, and I was like, I mean, I was already kind of checked out, like just from an emotional point of view. Like this was it for me. This project, Amarim, everything. This season was going to be the deciding factor on whether or not like I'm gonna keep doing like the blind loyalty thing, you know. But I mean, like, yeah, fuck, man. I just have a couple of things that I just want to say.
Yeah.
And fuck, I think with Man United, everything that Man United represents, the clubs, the fans, the media, the players, the executives, it's not about the patience or the stomach for a rebuild for me. It's the humility. Manchester United as an organization worldwide, we lack humility. We don't actually accept what we are. We don't actually understand and accept how bad things are. Like you literally trying to rebuild a club and you're emotionally clinging on like what used to be. It's just not a way you pave the way forward for a business. We're literally talking about a multi-billion pound organization being run on feelings. They paid 10 million pounds to sack a guy because someone's feelings got hurt. Like, let's think about that for a second. Like, we're dealing with a high performance organization that can't accept part of collaboration being conflict. Like I think people think I think people think collaboration is about like everybody must agree and must just be kumbaya. No, that's called groupthink, and that's how you end up in fucked up situations. So it's like I believe my honest opinion, and I'm a fan. I believe that our feelings and the media's feelings should be the last thing on the agenda when you're actually trying to build a successful and sustainable organization. Because everybody uses this word football club like it's supposed to kind of like excuse everything for like all the emotional stuff we do. No, our job is to be emotional, not the executives, not the fucking players and all. Like our jobs as fans is to be emotional. Right. So I think that, and I think that's like kind of the biggest thing, because now when you then put it onto the sacking had nothing to do with the players, yet they are the most crucial part of a rebuild. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you can't keep changing managers and pretend like the squad isn't part of the sustainable part of what a football club is. Like a football club is based on a football team, and that is supposed to be the most important and core or fundamental part of what you're doing. Anything that you start doing, despite the interest of the actual players and the squad that you're building, is just a vanity project. And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a fucking vanity project. And that means what's scary, because I can imagine being like I was looking at Ahmad's kind of interview or whatever he was talking about Amarim, and you can literally see, like, obviously he's trying to be composed and everything, but the words that he's saying is like, this is a guy that gave me the chance that and that means so much to me, outside of football. Ahmad came in before Jadon Sancho ever walked into this football club.
I know, a year
And
earlier.
this is the season that he finally gets a chance to be platformed.
Yep.
And you're taking away someone that found a way, despite all the dysfunction, despite all the bullshit, that found a way to get guys to get onside, which has been a crucial, fundamental issue at this club, is that the players are never onside.
Yep.
We're dealing with players that have constantly been, entitled and full of shit and lacking humility and lacking desire and all this kind of stuff. And you finally had a guy in there that, despite the results, guys were kind of onside. There was structure, there was discipline, there was a sense of a way forward. Even if people didn't like it, there was a way forward.
Yep.
And today, what you could see is that these are players that were playing with the idea that there is no way forward. So what the fuck?
Yep.
Like, who cares?
Yep.
So
Agreed.
for me,
Agreed.
this United DNA thing that people keep talking about, it's not about attacking football. It's not about high-flying wingers, all that shit. It's about mentality. Like, that was Manchester United's ultimate killer. Like, are you trying to say that the Wenger teams, the Chelsea teams, I guess at some parts Liverpool teams or whatever weren't good? No, they were good teams.
Yeah.
But we would kill every single team based on mentality. We had people like Keane running the dressing room, Sir Alex didn't even come into the dressing room. And now we're talking about, Jose Mourinho having to like control Luke Shaw's brain. Like, this is literally the level that we've come to. So it's like, it's fucking bizarre to me. It's really so bizarre. And this idea of like systems and all that shit, people don't understand systems. They want to copy outcomes. Like, systems is bullshit. Like, people want the outcomes, so they look at what other people are doing, but they fundamentally
you miss it. You miss so much when you try to do that. You miss
because you fundamentally lack the idea of like it's almost like chemistry, right? Or like biology. Like, you have a very definitive or set like DNA in your body. Therefore, you need to structure things based on what you have.
Yeah.
Man City's way of doing things was never going to be our way of doing things. They literally had to create their own way because they didn't have a Sir Alex Ferguson and all that shit. So for me, it's like, it's fucking bizarre, man. And this thing with Gary Neville, man, like, look, I love G Nev, and I think like this humility gimmick that he tries to do and like not talk about his time at United is really shit, because it makes people like Carragher think they're like on the same level as far as career and playing wise, which is, I hate it. But Gary Neville did not rebuild Man United. It was the likes of Brian Robson and fucking Steve Bruce. So when he talks about rebuilding and all this shit, he's talking from a genuinely privileged position. He walked into a team that had won titles or that a mature team. So Alex Ferguson literally had to kick out the likes of Paul Ince and all these guys to say, let the kids play now. They didn't win Manchester United's first fucking title. Like, so these guys are talking from a position of privilege. It's almost like, when you inherit the business as kids and you try to tell people like, yeah, like this is how you do things. And there's employees that have been there, like when your dad was building the thing and they're like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, you know what I mean? And that's the
unfortunately, those guys run our football club, they own 75% of it.
Exactly. And that's the fucking problem. So for me, it's like, just to kind of tie it back, it's like, I was looking at what Amarim was doing, and I don't know if you've watched this movie, Coach Carter. It's like a fucking movie from a long time ago.
Of course.
And before they were ever allowed to attack, he taught them the principles of like how you actually set up as a team, the defending, the teamwork, the communication, the structure, the discipline, right? Before they were really like unlocked and like had this platform. And in my opinion, in a very like stretched out way, we were in that process, but we just lacked the humility and we couldn't accept the discomfort of actually like what that looks like in real time. 14 months.
I agree with you.
To say, oh, no, it's not going to work. Like, we need to pivot. And I'm just like,
yeah,
fuck, man. So we are fucked. Jason Wilcox needs to get sacked. Like, Jason Wilcox needs to get sacked for real, because I think he doesn't understand this football club. He doesn't understand this football club. I don't think he understands the people. And I don't care how smart you are. At the end of the day, if you lack something inside of you that can really allow people to like move forward, if you're constantly making things about yourself, like, you can really never really achieve success. And that's what made us really, at the heart of this football club, we're still a family club. No matter how big we are, we're a family club. And we've got guys there making this all about them, which fucking scares me.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, I know it was a long rant, but fuck.
It's all good. A Sunday sermon we all need it right now after this. So I appreciate it, my friend.
I can't believe it. But look, man, I think just the last thing I wanted to say is that I don't know if they'll ever get it right, but I was wrong in thinking that we could do this thing, like kind of trying to copy other clubs' DNA. Like, I was behind the Ten Hag signing. I believed in the Ruben Amorim signing. And I don't think I was wrong for believing in Amorim, but I was definitely wrong for believing in Ten Hag, especially what we gave him. We should have hired Poch back then. And I think we should hire Poch now. I know everybody's probably going to be like, oh, man, you just ruined it. But if we want to be what we think we can be or what we hope to be, we need people, characters like Poch. And obviously, I mean, you have to do that with getting rid of like a Jason Wilcox. But you need people like that are not going to compromise on things like authority and discipline and structure.
Agreed.
Agreed. And that have the look, man. I mean, I get it. He hasn't won the Champions League and all that kind of stuff. But like, I think we actually
accept where we are, right? We have to accept.
Yeah, but look at fucking Spurs, man. These guys were fighting. Like, he was literally doing what Arteta's doing. Poch was doing what Arteta was doing at Spurs, and somehow that got normalized. Look at what Spurs are like. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
all right, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers, man.
See you next time, okay, buddy? Have a good one.
All right, cheers.
Stay well.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. All right, Jimmy.
Hola.
What's up, buddy?
Has anyone asked how Gary Neville how we are today? Because like, you know, as the majority owner of the club, I want to see Gary Neville make decisions. How do I start? We couldn't make 2 passes together at the game. We genuinely couldn't pass the ball. Too busy out of play. Stupid. My argument here is, what manager is going to want to come into this? And everyone's going, oh, every manager has this complex. It's like, well, you've got Wilcox, who was a director of football at Southampton, practically failed there, almost didn't get promoted when he had parachute payments, gets put into a job here and doesn't know what he's going to do. Then gets his ego hurt because he's downright, I'm the manager at heart and I'm going to tell the manager how to play, when we can't play that system anyway because United DNA and all this at 4 at back, which doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't. And then we go, do you know what? We'll sack the manager, but we'll have no plan of what we're doing. We'll just go on a whim, sack him, get him gone, and then just go, what do we do? We'll wait 2 weeks, we'll give it Fletcher 2 games, and then we'll go, maybe that one, maybe that one, maybe that one. It's frustrating.
It is frustrating, and I agree. It's all just representative of so much lack of planning. That's the biggest.
That's it.
The whole thing.
Like you say, the lack of planning is where it scares me for the summer, because it's like they'll go, oh, let's get Tuchel, let's get Ancelotti, let's get. No manager's going to look at the shit show that we're in when we finish 12th, if we finish like what if stuff goes on as it's going on, and go, I want that job. I'm going to be the one that goes in there, because one, you've got someone who isn't a manager telling you this is what I want, this is how you're going to do it, and then also you say that you need players to play your system, and then you go, yeah, sorry, we're not buying anyone for you. Just deal with you. You can use a Casemiro for 40 games this season. You'll be fine with Casemiro, who can't do it. Or you have a main who after 5 games might not be in the team and throw a paddy and be like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Right.
And so then you're looking at, is it going to be Glasner? Is it going to be someone like that? And then you're thinking, well, if that's the case, we are well and truly fucked. We're already fucked as it is with the board and going, okay, we'll make a decision. No, we won't. We'll stop. It's the fact that you stop on a decision. So you get a manager in and you have him for 2 years. You go, we've got a plan. We'll stick to this plan for 2 years. And halfway through, you see, okay, the plan's not going quite as well. but it's going well. So what do? Oh, let's fully rip the plan up. Let's get a new plan in. But you don't have a new plan. So you just go, okay, we'll just get that in. And then it makes no sense. And everyone's going, okay, well, you'll get Fletcher in, ex-player. Yeah, he'll get the fans on board. But then what? Then where's
Didn't sound like it in Old Trafford today. I mean, it sounded dead silent.
It was silent.
Sounded...
But I think we've had enough because it's literally just, oh, we'll get this boy back in and he'll get the fans on board. But where's the proof of that? Where's the proof of you know what you're doing? And it's like I say, with Wilcox, I have an agenda because of he's just been thrown. I get it. He's been thrown into a role that he's not used to. But if you're saying you're going to get the best in class, go out there and get the best director of football. Go out there and get someone that you trust. Get Dan. Go back. I'd apologise to him. Go back to Dan Ashworth and tell Dan Ashworth, look, we got it wrong. Wilcox is gone. Go on. Bye, Wilcox. Dan Ashworth, come back. Because at least then you have someone who knows what he's doing, not an under-18s coach who, I'm going to be the manager. Well, if you're so fucking clueless about being a manager, go and take on Saturday. When we play City, put Wilcox on the dugout.
Yeah. If you win, then we'll all believe you.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got, oh, I've got the master plan, fucking get in there, Wilcox. Go and do it.
Yeah.
All
right, buddy. Thank
Cheers.
you. Cheers, man. So, a pass. You good?
Greetings. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I appreciate you having this channel because you are a bit objective when it comes to Manchester United.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and personally, I feel like, and I know so many people have made their points, but we love the club and we support the club. But I feel like we have a problem with our fan base on a deep reasoning. Like, I feel like we are very emotional when it comes to the coaches. We expect these players to be good when they are not. Most of the players are not good enough. Most of the players are not good enough. Most of the players don't have heart enough. Like, I believe when you look at the match we played today, you can see that most of the players in the team we've been versing, I think that's Brighton. Like, you feel like they have the heart to play for the team. When it comes to Manchester United, we are so passive with the way we play football. And I've seen it more in these last two matches. Yes, we could talk about players being free, or we need to free the players, let Kobe play, but it's too slow. The Premier League is too fast. Yes, you may be nice, you're good with these passes, but it's not really helping the team. We need a bit of intensity with the team. And it's one thing that we lack a lot. When you look at most of the goals we considered with Amorim, it was not really the coach, it was the players. Players are so fragile. Just like our coach said, the current one.
Now he says it. 2 games. They're too fragile. Yeah.
They are too fragile. If someone makes that statement in 2 games, it already shows you have a problem with the players. We'd sit here, we've changed coaches over and over. But trust me, we need to remove so many players and add more players. This team needs to buy. You're looking at that. You can see that with Man City, even when they win heavily, even when they win leagues over and over, they keep buying players. They'll bring in 4 players.
Yeah.
They'll go to January and add more players, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 1. But a team like Man U not doing that, it shows the incompetence of the leadership. And it's a very big problem. We'll sit here and talk about the formation, what the coach is doing, what the coach is not doing. We're going to blame everyone. But we forget that the players we have are not good enough. I really respect and love so many of the players of Man U. And I think some of them need the time to grow. But to be honest, some players are not just good enough. Players like Dalot, he has the intensity. You feel like he cares. But it's like when he just run around. He just wants to run around. when you have players who just want to run around and just be excited and thing, I just don't think it's good enough. You need players who are very objective and they know exactly what they're doing. That's why I feel like it's very easy when you watch like a Mazarawi play in the number 2 position, like you feel like yourself, You don't feel like there's anything fidgety or there's panic.
Yeah.
But with Dalot, like you're overthinking when you see him in that position. You know players are going to get past him.
Yeah.
You know he's going to make a silly mistake. He has nice moves, but sometimes these moves bring problems.
Yeah.
To be honest, for me, my problem, I genuinely believe we'll bring in other coaches, but we definitely have to buy players. First of all, we made a big mistake to let the coach go at a time like this. We should have let him go after the end of the season. We shouldn't have let him go when he's fifth. Technically, he was fifth. Would say sixth, but he was fifth. And we were so bad last season. We would have given him a chance. Give him a bit of time. You see this channel you have right here, James. Your channel, the fans who support your channel have given you time to grow as a person. There are mistakes you're going to make here and there, but you're going to improve the quality of the videos you're doing and all this. It's because you're given a bit of time to actually do that. But I feel like our fans are too quick to dismiss people. And that's our biggest problem. We dismiss people too quick, and the ownership is doing the same thing. They're dismissing coaches too quick. Give them a bit of time and give them the tools to actually do their job. And don't get into their job. You can't hire someone to do something and then start telling them how to do it. When you hired them knowing that they can do it, you're undermining their authority as a person to actually take on the job. It's like, I'm going to give you this job, but I am in the job with you. What does that mean? Doesn't make sense. That's the biggest problem I've seen. Sending off our coach, we made a mistake. It was off feelings. It was off feelings. Like, I feel like maybe we could just dispose him off and get someone in. This is the worst time to send a coach home. It's the worst time to send a coach home. We are fifth in the league. We are not playing too good, but we are not losing as we were losing this season. At least you could look at the team and feel like, you know what? At least we are not losing heavily. And on top of that, we are drawing, but you can see signs that the team is actually improving in particular areas. Give it a bit of time. Give it a bit of time and we build something. I just pray that after this, they can just let a coach be a coach and be a manager at the same time. You can't have too many cooks in the kitchen. We can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, and it's a very big problem in Manchester United. We have so many cooks. You have so many people saying stuff, and back then I think it's because we had no social media. So we had not so many people had so much to say, but right now everyone has so much to say. And even if you hide away from what they're saying, you will still hear it one way or another. And I think it affects the team, it affects the coach, it affects the players. And I just pray we give these guys time, the next people to come in, we give them time, and we don't over-criticize. Because even you guys who watch the football, you all have workplaces where they give you chances to actually redeem yourself. We need to give people time. Those are my words.
I appreciate it. I agree with most everything you said. Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Yeah. All right. Yasir, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I can't
Oh,
hear
the
you.
signal might be bad. We might have to try to come back, okay?
Can you hear me?
Keep talking. It's going up and down.
I can't hear you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll come back to that. All right, Mains, how you doing?
Hey.
Hello.
I'm doing. Hey, how are you? And a shirt on today, so
yes.
Nothing too bad. I'm fucking awful, man. But I really wanted to say thank you to you. Like the last week has been really rough for me, and I can't imagine what it must be like with like 1,000 people arguing, disagreeing all the time. So I really want to start off with saying I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything you're doing for the community. I want to. It's very difficult to find, but I want to try to find like any sense of positivity in the situation. And I really feel like one thing that is going right for us is I think that the impatience of Jim Ratcliffe might actually be like, I think he could be ready to fuck them all off and try again next season. Because,
Sure,
like,
he might.
he seems batshit crazy. And I just like,
I have thought about that.
yeah,
Like maybe he'll be fed up with this and say, "All right, fine, I am going to replace everybody and give it another
Yep.
shot." He's that type of
Yeah.
guy. So
yeah, and he's like invested what, 2 billion or something, like,
a lot.
and he's
Mhm.
not getting younger. He wants to see United win. He wants to be the guy who rebuilt United, which the actions of the board these last few days have shown that these are not the fucking guys. Like, if he sticks with
Yeah.
this team, we're fucked. And in hindsight, like, none of these guys have done their role before, other than Dan Ashworth, which we fired. Like, Barada wasn't a CEO before. Wilcox wasn't a sporting director before. Vivell is getting up into the world compared to where he was before. So I just hope that he goes out and gets like a Paul Mitchell or like a Luis
Right.
Campos, someone who's done it before with experience. And then
Yep.
I hope, really, really hope, a big wish that I have is like, over the next 12 months, we can see more unity. Like, as a fan
Yeah.
base, we're so divided. As a club, we're so divided, and we're hanging the manager out to dry. And they're not coming out backing him. Like, this has not felt like a unified project. Like, if it were, then they would have defended Amorim, and they would have given him a keeper fucking before deadline day, when it was the most like glaring obvious holes. I guess that's the first major red flag I had. But I feel like whatever happens this season, we have like quality in the squad, and like, if we get someone in that's really ready to rip it up, as we should have done this summer, and get rid of 10 players and get like 8 in, I feel like there's something to build on. But it's difficult. Like,
it is.
I don't know if you remember, but in the live I asked you, like, do you have any thoughts on why they won't buy? Like, is there like any logical reason why the fuck they wouldn't?
I genuinely believe they think that we just need a few, and that means that, you know, we just need a few top players to come in. That's what it feels like when you look at who they're willing to spend money on. They would have spent 65 million on Baleba. They would have spent 65 million on Semenyo. These are guys they believe to be the top players in their positions. They're not willing to buy beyond the top players. I think that that's a gross misassessment of where the squad is at, to believe that that's the only thing that improves us. We need squad players too. We need good squad players in this team as well now. Yep.
And that's like very concerning, right? Because if they think we need like 2 players, maybe the starting 11 at a push with like all the luck in the world with 2 players could like challenge for a season. But then like, you have 60 games. What are you gonna run? Like, the same, like, look what Slot did last season. He almost like run these like 15 players into the ground. Like, it's just stupid. And like, there's no good argument for not buying. Like, even a fucking James Garner, who we might shift again in 24 months, or like just something. Yeah, it's like preaching to the choir.
I agree.
But like,
I agree.
Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be rough, and I really hope that they learn from this. And I hope, like, I was a very, very big like Amorim fan. I was so sure he was like the one, and I can't wait for him to get a top job somewhere else and just crush it, because this is like a disaster, and it's so sad. It was supposed to be better. Like, it wasn't supposed to be. It's literally like Woodward with better recruitment. Like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Yep. Yeah, I hear you, man. And
anyway,
it
James,
is very
thank you.
frustrating. Of course, my friend.
Yeah, but
alrighty, buddy.
Thank you, man. Keep your spirits up, man. You're doing a great job, man.
I'll keep
All
at
the
it, and
best.
hopefully we have better times ahead. Okay, see you, buddy. Thank you.
For sure.
All right, Doily, how you doing?
Hello, mate. How are you?
Good. You? Well, okay, but fine. An hour and a half in, my fury has run out. But so yeah. But
yeah. Well done on keep going. Yeah. Christ. At least you can do 90 minutes. I'm like half our team. I wanted to talk to you more about off the pitch because I don't really see anything on the pitch being short-term resolved, and I think there are much bigger questions that really need to be resolved now. I was very much a pro-Ineos person for a long time because I do believe they do have a genuine positive intent on what they want to do for the club, unlike the Glazers. I felt that was different. I still somewhat believe that to be true. I don't think Sir Jim doesn't love the club. I think he does, but I think he's making a mistake. The bit for me where I'm trying to understand is where the club's direction is overall, because the current situation in its ownership isn't sustainable from a financial perspective or an operational perspective. The questions, when we talk about investing in the squad, seem very odd because we're told at one point that money's available, we can do something. On the flip side, there is talk of challenging financial situation with the club. So what is that, and what is the solution to that? And everything else that I hear people commenting on, everyone says we're on board. This is all corporate stuff, right? You've worked there, I've worked there. Everyone says they're on board. You don't go against your boss. You go with the line, and then once something bad happens, it all falls apart. This happens everywhere. It's nothing new. But I'm interested in what your thoughts are on what the actual solution to that position is, because at the moment I don't see it, and everyone's got comments, but I can't see anyone with a proper solution to what's happening at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest issues here is that there was always a long-term plan in terms of the ownership model of it changing in line with the stadium, right? But it feels, I believe, as though there's a lot of connected pieces here. The Glazers don't really want to sell. The club needs to be in Europe competitive in order to be an attractive destination for sponsors, because the juice has run out in a lot of respect. We've seen that. It's been a struggle for sponsorship. It's been a struggle. They have things that they had money for before, like the training ground, that there's nothing right now. And things like that they're losing in opportunities. The deal with Adidas is worse than before in that they lose money every year they're outside of the Champions League, not only after like 3 years in a row or something, which never happened until now, right? So they're losing money every year, and it's a messy situation, I think, in that respect, because you look at it and say it's almost like there's these things that have to happen before they can take the next steps, or they feel they can take the next steps in their original plan with the stadium, with investors, with sponsors, with perhaps using that to leverage the situation. Except I don't know that we'll get back there with the current plan. Will we get to a point where that can work with the current plan? Will we ever make enough money? Will we ever be in Champions League consistently with the current setup? And you have to think like, maybe, like it's football, right? But we're almost hoping for a fluke at the moment. That there's going to be.
That's a bit where I understood the plan, but and to your point on what we talked about the squad, it's very, very mindful of it has to go a number of steps to be successful, and that is high risk. And in terms of kind of like, you are going to get things wrong. It's just human nature. So for our current plan to be, well, we're going to go through 3 years of X, Y, and Z to deliver that, and then go against our current plan financially makes very, very, very little sense, which is why I'm a bit like, either something has fundamentally changed for them to kind of take that position, or they're sat there considerably worried about other things to make a decision where they think they need to escalate things to another level. And part of me wonders, I don't think, by the way, Scholes and Butt being next to Ferguson was an accident tonight. I think that was all a PR exercise, and I think we'll hear about that. And I think I'm really disappointed with the Carrick Solskjaer situation. I feel like it's a very backward step. So at the moment, my major concern now is more a high level on the pitch. I've switched off from the pitch now because I just think it's better for my health to not watch it.
Right.
But I think what we really need to watch is what happens off the pitch for the next 6 months, because that will really decide the next 2 years and on. So I'm a bit. Yeah, what can I say? A bit like everyone else, but anyway, I'll let you crack
I
on.
appreciate your perspective, and I do agree with you, and that's the concerns, for sure.
All the best. I'll let you go.
See you, buddy. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye. All right, everybody. I think we're going to call it there. We'll try to get some other guys back in on the next time. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for hanging out, and hopefully better times ahead. Let's see what the next few days bring. Obviously, I have a lot for you, and then we'll see what comes next. Okay. Have a good rest of your weekend. Appreciate you all being here. Hopefully by the end of this, I'm not saying you feel better, but like I was saying, hopefully some of your fury is played out, because mine is, and I'm going to go around the rest of my day and relax. Okay. But again, thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you for this community. Thank you for all of you. Appreciate you all so much. And I will catch you in the next video. I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay. Have a good one, everybody. Goodbye.